Hello everyone. As we do every year, we're going to spend some time choosing seeds together and begin planting. Spring is a time where the earth reawakens, she renews herself and explodes with new life. Today we will assist her in the beginning stages of creating new life by planting seeds.
A new plant, also known as the embryo, is found inside the seed and lies in a dormant state, protected by a seed coat until exposed to certain conditions. The sprouting process is called germination. Most seeds just need moisture and warm temperatures for germination. When they are exposed to these two environmental factors, they begin to grow. Some seeds need special treatment beyond moisture and warm temperatures for germination to begin. If you want to dive deeper into the process of stratification and scarification, please reference Week 51 Horttext section.
Before you get started, it is important to know your hardiness zone. Knowing your plants means you know their names, needs, and origin. This will help in ensuring your chosen plant has a shot at thriving. In NYC, we are in Zone 7B.
To make sure this process is as smooth and clear as it can be, we are going to spend a little bit of time first learning where to find information on seed germination. Believe it or not, most seed packages have growing instructions on the back.
On the back, you can find the plant name, description, days to maturity or harvest, planting tips, seed depth, germination days, spacing, and plant height.
For an early start, seeds can be started indoors in flats or containers 4 weeks prior to the last frost and then transplanted outdoors in mid to late spring.
Let's get started. We must begin by selecting our trays. It is important to choose containers that drain well. Perhaps the most recognizable containers is cell packs, also called inserts, which are placed into flats or trays. Cell packs come in different sizes. Choosing how many cells you want in your flat can depend on how many different plants you want to start, how many people you are working with, and how much space you have to store the flats. The depth of the cell should depend on the plants you are planting inside. Different plants have different root depths. As always, it is important that all these cell packs have drainage holes at the bottom to let excess water flow out. Peat pots are pots that can be planted straight into the soil and will break apart after they're planted in the garden. You can also find ones made from coconut fibers. Recycled containers are great to use. Yogurt, milk cartons, bottles, etc., and just need a good washing with hot water and a few drainage holes. Rolled newspaper pots are also a great recycled option and can be planted straight into the soil.
Once we have our trays, we fill them with soil. For a healthy start, seedlings need a loose, well-drained medium composed of fine particles. A sterile seed starting mix is available at your local garden supply store. It will probably contain vermiculite, peat, coconut fiber, and sometimes lime or composted bark. We never use garden soil. Garden soil can have poor drainage, be too rich, or not fertilized. Garden soil can also contain harmful bacteria and fungi from the previous year's growing season that will spread to our new seedlings.
We fill containers 2/3 full with soil. Pat soil down lightly with your hand to reduce air pockets and provide as much soil as possible for the seedling to grow. Moisten the mix thoroughly before planting seeds. Once the soil is tampered down in the trays, it is time to check out your seed packet one more time. Your seed packet should have info about how deep to plant your seeds, so it's important to double check before moving forward. If there is no information on your seed packet, a good rule of thumb is to plant your seeds twice as deep as the diameter span across of your seed. This means a bigger seed can go deeper into the soil, whereas a smaller seed stays more on the surface and is only lightly covered with soil. When it is time to plant, you can measure out the depth of your holes with an instrument, a plastic spoon or chopstick. Mark it with a Sharpie. Then using your planting instrument, make all the holes you need in your container. Place the seeds in each of the holes you made and cover gently with soil. A good rule of thumb is to plant all of your seeds before starting to cover with soil, so you don't forget if you planted seeds in a certain cell or container. Once planted, make sure to label your containers with the types of plants you seeded and then put the date on them so you can keep track of their growth and progress. Humid environment encourages germination, so we often cover our newly planted seeds with a plastic covering to trap moisture. Many flats and cell packs come with a plastic top to create a mini greenhouse. This humidity plus moisture and the warmth of an indoor environment will encourage germination.
Use a watering tool that gently pours out water. Try to mimic the natural flow of rainfall. The flow should be soft and spread out, not a direct pour, since that might be too strong and splash our newly planted seeds right out of the soil. Some watering cans and hose heads have features like this. Look for tools that look like shower heads rather than ones that have an open spout.
The first sign of germination is the absorption of lots of water, activating the metabolic functions needed for germination and growth. After absorbing enough water, the plant and embryo grows too large for the seed and bursts the outer shell. A small plant emerges. The root tip of the radicle is the first part of the sprout to emerge, and it anchors the seed to the soil, allowing the embryo to continue to absorb nutrients and water from the soil.
We must reflect on goal-setting questions and what factors to consider when selecting seeds to plant. Knowing the inner workings of our natural environment is so important for this step. Nature has a reciprocal way of dealing with itself, from recycling of nutrients from dead plant matter back into the soil to companion plants that work together to flourish in our garden. In this fashion, we too must find our role in stewarding the land in a way that does not deplete or destroy it. When starting seeds, keep in mind it's important to consider time, space, and the benefits and needs of the soil and seeds. We hope you had a lovely time with us. Bye!